If you are finding work in Australia, then this video is for you. So if you are job searching or if you're offshore and you're wondering how to go about finding work in Australia, then this video is for you. My name is Joanna Hill. I am a registered migration agent with Port Migration. Since 2015, I have helped countless people navigate the process of applying for skilled visas, general skilled migration, employer-sponsored visas, and partner visas for Australia. And I am asked all the time about finding work in Australia. Before I keep going, could you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube. We have over 500 subscribers, which is amazing and super exciting. Lots of people have been asking about finding work in Australia lately, so I'm recording this video for you. Now, there is a link in the description to a super popular blog on our website. It is the resource that we point our clients to when they ask us about finding work. There's also a link to a YouTube video where I talk through that blog article. But in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 tips for finding work in Australia. So here we go. Like and subscribe, and let's have a look at tip 1. So my first tip for finding work in Australia is networking. Networking is hugely important for finding work in Australia. Lots of jobs. Go to people who people know, okay? So even if you are applying online, you need to know that there are people applying for those jobs who have a network within the companies or the businesses that you're applying for. So tap into your network. Talk to people that you know in Australia who work in your field or in your occupation, or who have contacts that could point you in the direction of employers that are looking for people with your skill set. So work your network, okay? Now, jump over and follow us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where we post a lot of our content about employment, employer-sponsored visas, and skilled migration. So my first tip, make your network work for you and use your network to help you with finding work. Now, my second tip is there are a lot of local websites in Australia that might be different to the job search websites that are used in your country. So our article about finding work in Australia has links to the major job websites, so Seek, Indeed, Career One. So those websites, have a look at them. Now, they are a really good indication of the demand for your occupation in Australia. So if you type in your occupation into Seek and dozens or hundreds of jobs come up, then that's an indication that your occupation is in demand. But if you start searching those websites and you're getting 1 or 2 or not very many examples of jobs in your occupation, then that's an indication that it will be harder to find work. Keep in mind also that a lot of industries or occupations in Australia have occupation-specific employment websites. So an example I give for this is teaching. I was a teacher for a long time. If you are applying for work as a teacher in Australia, private schools, non-government schools will advertise in the media and the websites, whereas a lot of the government schools have specific sites for each state. So in Victoria, Recruitment Online is the website where all government schools have to advertise their employment positions. So if you're only relying on the major websites like Seek and Indeed, then you'll be missing the jobs that are being posted on the industry-specific websites. So make sure that you know the websites that are the major sources of employers posting jobs for your industry, whatever your occupation or industry is. So you want to be tapping into both those things. So you want to be looking at the major websites, but you also want to be looking on the industry-specific websites, whatever they are for your occupation. So that's tip 2. Now, tip 3 is about your CV or your resume, okay? So different countries have different standards for what CVs and resumes look like. I know this because I see them all the time, okay? And I can identify which country people have come from often based on how they set out their resume and the information that they include. So there's tips for resume writing in our article, and we post resources about this on LinkedIn. If you are applying for a visa, then there are common things that do and don't get put into Australian resumes. So in Australia, it's uncommon for people to put personal information into their resume, like their marital status or their birth date, whereas there are other countries where that's completely typical. So make sure your resume is up to date. Have a look online for what is the standard for resume writing for your industry in Australia, and just update your resume so you have a version of your resume that you're using when you apply for jobs in Australia. So those are my 3 top tips for finding work in Australia. Use your network. Use the online websites that Australian employers use to post jobs, and update your resume so it meets the kind of expectations and standards that Australian employers will have for your occupation in Australia. Now, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, jump over to LinkedIn and have a look in the description to the links of our articles and other videos about finding work in Australia. All the best for your job search. Bye.